hoping that this has gone live and you can currently hear me, see me. I tend not to edit my live streams later. I'll take little clips from them. But hello, it is Wednesday night here in the UK. I hope you're having a fabulous time wherever you are. If you are in the UK, please let me know. If you're elsewhere as well, same rules apply. How are you doing on this absolutely fabulous Wednesday evening? I decided I was going to stream because something that I get comments of, I get a lot of people sort of saying, oh, more live streams. So I thought, do you know what? Okay, let's do it. I would just like to say hello to the people who have joined so far. We've got Marley, we have Squirrel Nutty, we have Smoke Pit Fairy Tales, fabulous, of course. If you like audiobooks, then you can go on to Audible. Trip, who is Smoke Pit Fairy Tales, he writes these epic books about Marines in space. It's excellent. And he's just done, I think we're recording book 6, but he's editing book 5. It's very epic. Yes. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to sort of just give it 5 minutes, let the guests assemble. And I just want to tell you what's been going on, because the world of live comedy is very much a roller coaster. Like you would think that when you've done the same job for 15 years, not much would surprise you anymore. But things do, and things seem to go round in circles. And I love my job. I love talking about it. So thanks for joining me on this beautiful Wednesday evening. Do you know what? We've had horrendous weather here in the UK. And by horrendous, I mean slightly chilly. You know, and in British terms, that's just not on. Hello, Lukasz. Well, I know you're in Poland. I know that much. God, am I doxing people? I need to be careful of that. It's terrible. By the way, if you're interested, because I know last time we did a live, we did the poll. Where have I put the damn mouse mats? Oh, sorry. And the shop, if you would so like a mouse mat, the shop is now live. I know, she finally did it. I didn't do it quite right. I wanted to go through the YouTube channel, but I set it up wrong. And now I've got this massive box of mouse mats under my desk. So if you would like one, please do check out the link in the description of this live. Also, if you do get a mouse mat, then I had these postcards. I will include a signed postcard in it. And this is a photo of me. Oh my word, Nigel Glasgow. His name just disappeared out of my mind, and that's terrible. I should always credit the photographer. He did this. I kind of look like Lady Liberty a little bit, but I got a little microphone headdress. And I will include this limited edition postcard with a little signature. That's for the first 50 orders. Okay, so I've got to say that now. I've got 50 of these. I have more than that of the mouse mats. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe I should start a postcard club. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, we've got more people. Tara with J. Hello from New England. Cold and windy today. Oh, my darling. I hope that you wrap up warm. Yes, I hate it when the cold gets into my bones. I mean, I suppose, not having a soul, that's probably why I'm cold all the time. Nothing to keep me warm, except for the blood of young comics. RS797. It's kind of like a bit like Deep Space Nine, isn't it? Wow. Hi, Diane. Good to see you. Good to see you too, mate. Thanks for joining in. Hey, Diane, I've been loving your parts and trips books. Ah, yes. Thank you, Matt. This is what I was just mentioning earlier. If you like sci-fi, if you like audiobooks, listen, they're absolutely superb. Rick Styles, massive box. Thank you. Sometimes you have to play to your strengths. And if your strength is a massive box between your legs, use it. I can't believe it. We've barely been live 5 minutes and it's descended into filth. Of course it has. I want one with dedication. What does that mean, Lukasz? You like, oh no, if you get a mouse mat, I will sign the postcard. I won't sign your mouse mat. You don't want ink on your wrist. Space Crowd Boy, I'm in Wigan and in hibernation. Oh, my darling, you have just had some cold weather. Bless you. No, yeah, you stay nice and warm. 4 shirts, 2 sweaters, double socks. Thanks for checking. Good on you, Tara with Jay. And hello, Trevor. I'm glad to see you too. Thanks for turning up. So today, my angels, and I will say hi to people as we go along. I have had 3 very interesting gigs. And each of those gigs came with a different amount of noise and interference. Now, as we all know, when you're doing stand-up comedy, you kind of need to be heard. Some would argue that it is an audio medium. It's really not. It's audio, it's visual. There's a lot going on when you watch a stand-up comic. I know that some comics are really good at that kind of very still, very straight, very flat delivery. Like you've got like your Jack D's, people, and even like to some extent your Jimmy Carrs, where they're very still and they just deliver the material. But you still get something out of looking at them. You still get something about looking at how they've dressed their face. And I think that there is a perfect kind of Goldilocks zone for where stand-up like mine belongs. And I'm slowly finding that Goldilocks zone, which is where I want to kind of get it into for every time I film a special. Let's have a look at the... I love the fact that Tara with Jake, I'm still rereading that. I'm still rereading 4 shirts, 2 sweaters, double socks. That almost sounds a little bit like a breakfast. Do you know what I mean? Double eggs, double bacon. Lovely. Squirrel Nutty, filth is the best thing to descend into. Oh, darling, we're up to our necks in this stuff. Rick. Oh, hello, Rick. You're in Detroit. I've never been to Detroit. I've barely any idea where you are on a map. I'll be honest with you. I'm not even going to fib. I would have to look you up on Google. Sorry, but cool. Luca. Oh, buongiorno. I should say buonasera. Come sta? That's to Luca and Jacob DT from South Africa. Amazing. Oh, it's been sweating hot here. Ooh. I'm glad you like my comedy, thank you. Well, again, South Africa, another place I've never been to. My brother-in-law has been there and he loved it. So, you know, all these places, so little time. Planes. Where was I going? So, grab yourself a drink, get yourself comfy. So I had 3 gigs, right? 3 very different gigs with very different noise. Stand-up needs a certain amount of people to pay attention. And even if that is just for the sake of the comedian. Because obviously, while you're on stage, people say, oh, I couldn't have it with all these people looking at me. Well, the truth is, yes, they're all looking at me, but I'm also looking at them. And I'm always looking at the room as a whole, and I'm sort of assessing how many people are listening. And because it is an entertainment form that requires you to be engaged, it does require you to listen, because if you miss the little nuances, you won't get the joke. So the first gig was at a military base, RAF Odeon. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's spelt Oddiham. But it's... So the first gig was at a military base, and most of the people there are military personnel in the RAF. And there was a huge male to the ratio was so skewed. It was just like a wash with testosterone. A lot of those boys were quite young. Like I'm not an organic mother, but I have quite maternal instincts towards people, and I just saw a room full of people that I wanted to check were eating their vegetables. I was like, look at all these young lads, and they're all sort of being all cool and tough because they're exhausted, which is fine. But it meant that when the comic came on, these boys through the roof. Like, I think there was like one woman to every 12 men. I mean, what's the name of that lady? Is it Lily Phillips? What was the other one? 1,000 men in a night. I mean, for her, it barely scratches the surface. But for comedy, it can be a little tricky when you've got a dude heavy room, you know, a bit of a sausage fest. Just going to have a little check, see if anybody's chatting. Rick, it's easy to find Detroit. Just find America, look for a right-handed mitten shape, poke your left thumb into the meat of your right thumb. That's Detroit. I love instructions like that. Like when people ask me where I live, I say, oh, I live in Chessington. And they say, where is that? And I say, imagine the M25 is a clock. I live at number 7. Heathrow is at 9. Gatwick is at 6. Namaste. So we're at this gig and the noise from the crowd was just huge. Lots of testosterone. And to be honest with you, you can sort of get a bit nervous because you think if they don't want to hear me, they're going to talk over me. They're just going to run riot over this. I was absolutely fine. And thankfully, I had a very good host who went up and set up the room before I went up there. I'm actually working on a video right now on the intricacies of hosting. It's such a nerdy video, honestly. Like, I really appreciate that you're listening to me right now, but honestly, guys, I think that maybe I'll be lucky if I get like 100 views on this video, because it's a real kind of, okay, how to do comedy. It's really sort of intricate. I've tried to make it funny and amusing, but we'll see. And my friend Paul Cox, who is a brilliant comedian, he set up the room really well. Like, he took a couple of bullets for me, not literally, I appreciate it's a military base, but he took a couple of bullets for me because he sort of went up and he did material and you could see them, like they just wanted it to be all about them. And he'd already done that. He'd already sort of gone into them, called them all dicks and, you know, and the rest of it. And he'd already like really got them, but then he did material so he could bring me on. But at that transition bit where he did material, you could feel them kind of like a bit, what, he's not talking to us anymore, and but then they sort of calmed down, and then I came on, and it was quite simple to sort of deal with, really, because some bloke said something inappropriate in the first 2 minutes and I said, well, you're a bit of a cunt, aren't you? And then I have that joke, you know, no lady has a cunt unless she married it. And I did all of that. And then they were like, woo! And then they were just on board. But they were still chatty, like all the way through, but at least they were like chatting and paying attention. So then the next gig that I had was in this jazz club in like a part of London called Kingston. And you would think, oh, wow, okay, jazz club, it's going to be middle class, boop, 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 boop. Like everybody's going to be like super chilled out, super like, they're just going to listen and appreciate. Now, I've done this gig before. I've done this gig over many years. And in fact, it's the same venue that I filmed Exquisite Bad Taste in back in 2012. Thanks for being with me all this time, guys. I really appreciate it. So you would think in this gig that people would be quite mellow, but in this gig, rather than have a huge amount of testosterone of dudes who want to like puff it up and get involved, like at one point in that aria, and I made the right decision. I instantly turned to a guy who'd been mouthy earlier and went, okay, everybody, he has no idea what I'm talking about. Not a clue. Can somebody please get this poor boy Google? You know, as I was saying that, so because I was taking the mickey out of him, all his mates were like, which was great. It's kind of what you want, you know. So then in this gig, this jazz club, you'd think, oh, it's a jazz club. Surely they're all going to sit. They're all going to listen. Oh no. Oh no. We had a huge amount of estrogen. Honestly, my hormones are all over the place, guys. Like, we had a huge amount of estrogen because there was a 40-something-year-old lady's birthday party sat at the back of the room, and they were plastered. Like, I know that all the boys at the RAF camp were drinking, right? But these boys are drinking beer. These ladies, they had tucked away minimum 2 bottles of wine each. These were hardcore, kind of like middle class alcoholics, and they were all over the place. Host, again, brilliant. Got them to quiet down, kind of got them in a good state where they could listen. And obviously I went up and I had a really, I'll be honest, I had a great gig because everything that I sort of said, they resonated with. But there's a lot of talking, and it's sometimes quite hard to keep the focus because you can hear all this talking going on in the back. Let's have a wee little look at the chat. Oh, I love this. It's such a private little gig, this. It's lovely. There's only a few of us here. I'm delighted. See, because when you're trying to do something more regularly, like live stream, when you're starting out, you don't want to have like suddenly 2,000 people watching, because you'd be like, I'm not used to this. This is great. This can start our little group and we'll build up slowly. Fabulous, guys. Queensland. Oh my gosh. It's 6:10 and 18.7 degrees. Oh my. Oh my. Oh, it's going to get a bit toasty where you are, my angel. That's George White. Ronald Winterberg, Sergeant Winterberg, US Army Reserve, retired. Hello, sir. I cannot thank you enough for the humour. Oh, you are absolutely most welcome. I mean, I'm a comedian. I'm here for distractions from whatever you want to be distracted from. Trump, anybody else? Anybody, like somebody reverses into your car, I will distract you. Ignore them. They're not worth your time. Ronald, not worth your time at all. Smokebit loves a good jazz club. Tara with J loves exquisite bad taste. Thank you. Stan, hello Dan. Love your comedy and stories. Puppet work with Donkey DeLolio. I don't know where that puppet is. I don't know where Donkey DeLolio is, and I don't know where Swine Goran Eriksson is. I think they're in the loft. I should go up and check. Any plans to do a gig in the US? Florida? Not yet. I would need to be invited by a club, I think. I think that's the only way that would work at the moment. I would need somebody to sort of decide to produce my tour, but who knows? This is the way the internet works. Like, if I manage to get lots and lots of people who love my stuff, and I can sort of say to them, look, I have this many followers, many of them are in America, would you like to promote me? Then they will go yes, and because they'll have all the venue contacts. Does that make sense? Am I doing Edinburgh this year? Says Space Cowboy. No, I am not, because I just released Sweet and Sour, which was the 10th show. So it's now January. So to do Edinburgh at a level I would be happy with an hour-long show, it's too much. I want to sort of write. I've started writing, but I want the process to be a bit more organic. I don't want to shove it and rush it, you know. Daniel, I love your work. Please post more. Daniel, I am posting as much as I can. Hello from Romania. Hello, my angel. And Alvin Wilson Davis, I've been a fan of yours for years. Randomly thought it was lying. Sod it. I love it. Sod it is the perfect attitude. Honestly, I'm a distraction, and sod it. That's what we're going with, people. That's what we love. Loved your humour. The filthy jokes help you smoke out the coolest friends. I must admit, it is interesting when you tell a saucy joke and it splits a group. And you see half of the group absolutely love you and half of the group decide that you're the devil. Which brings me on to my third gig. So we went from a RAF base to a jazz club. To what I love, by the way, about the jazz club was that the women who were really plastered, when they turned up, the show manager told me they literally just ran around the venue, started rearranging all the chairs to make their party most comfortable. The entitlement is insane, and I kind of love it because I love watching it at a distance. Like, wow, you just think that's cool. like, I don't know if you guys are like me, where you see somebody just doing that and you think, this is fascinating. You're really about to get your comeuppance, but I'm just, wow, I'm just going to watch. So the last gig and was in a restaurant and like specialty wine place. Like the wine in this place was amazing. Downstairs there was this like beautiful fairy lit grotto with just shelves and shelves and shelves of wine, and it had this really nice kind of cool feel and vibe to it. But kind of imagine like the width of a garage where you would have your car. Yeah, that was kind of the width of the whole venue, and now put in a bar and tables, and people are so squashed that they literally cannot turn round, and you're performing down that end and they're sat like this. And so number one, the people weren't facing the right way. Number two, we were in the darkest corner. There was no light. We were just in this like dark little corner with the microphone. And then they didn't stop serving anything, and it was already jammed in. Like, they didn't stop serving anything. So you walk on stage and I'm there doing my bit about pole dancing, right? And I got to the bit where I'm doing all the sound effects, like squeaking up and down the pole. And then I do this bit where I say, oh, and I span around the pole, and then I kind of go like that. And I say, guys, I don't want to alarm anyone, but I think a flap has come out of my shorts and it's wrapped around the pole. So that's that bit. But literally as I'm saying that, suddenly this tray of meat, like this flaps of meat, just glides past because somebody's ordered the charcuterie board. And I just couldn't help myself. I went, enjoy your charcuterie board. So yeah, I've had 3 gigs recently where first the noise was from all the dudes, then the noise was from all the women, and finally the noise was just from the venue itself. And all the time your brain is like at the very back going, I think I can remember what's next. And it's just been kind of quite intense. May I just check the chat? Travis Hall, I still say you're the best red-haired female comedian in the business, in your price bracket. Thank you, Travis. I like all of the disclaimers you put on that. It's very, that is flattering though. I do know some very funny red-headed women, so that is nice. Hi, please create rap after the BBC rap scandal. Oh, I remember you. You wrote something very similar on a video. No, I don't rap. Alvin, people watch exactly like that. Yes. I mean, people watching in general is so exciting. Recently in the UK, our Prime Minister, who has not got a good reputation, was doing a talk with the NHS. And halfway through the talk, people started saying to him, they started talking about the public inquiry into the grooming scandal. But as he's talking, behind him was an NHS worker who constantly picked her nose on live television, like she's recorded. It was the grossest thing I've ever seen, because she works in the NHS. She works in the health service, and she was stood behind the Prime Minister. Like, she had like a pattern. I couldn't take my eyes off her. And then I look on Twitter and everybody's talking about her. And again, the Prime Minister, who is rapidly failing to impress anybody, has just completely lost out to this like woman sat behind him. It was gross. She was on like a rotor. She'd like stick her finger up her nose. Then she'd kind of like inspect it. Then you could tell she was eating it. It was but it was hypnotic. It was just hypnotic. I like doing walking videos. My favourite is an American lady called Leslie Sanson. She does walk at home, something like that. But Leslie, she's amazing. I love Leslie. But one of the things I like doing is halfway through the walking video, I'm so distracted by all the shit that's going on behind her. People do not realize how much they give when they're completely oblivious, when they think they're just, oh, nobody's noticing me. Oh, yes, somebody somewhere, a psychopath like me, is watching you and loving it. What's your position with Greenland? Slumber, you're coming in with some heavy. I mean, I don't think that, I understand why Trump wishes to buy it. Like when you look at a map in a very simplistic way, you go, oh, that makes sense why America would want that as a defensive position, especially because of what Russia is doing. It makes sense simplistically. However, I don't think that you should buy a country. It's inappropriate. And the people of Greenland never said they were for sale. And I don't think that's good. There we go. That's very quick. I've got 4 mouse. You've got 4 mouse mats? Oh my God. Well, thank you very much. Wondrous. Right, where was I going? Okay, so I've just chatted about that. There was something else. I wrote it all down. Oh, right. Okay, now. This is kind of how our lives will be. Like it will sort of be, I'll go on odd little adventures over a month and then I'll come back to you and report back. We'll see what we create. If we create anything together. Right now, I think we've established that we like wearing lots of clothes and we people watch. I mean, already I'm loving this. We kind of sound like a group of wombles on a bench. Apologies to my foreign friends. Wombles are quite a British reference. Think Paddington Bear's like rougher cousin. So, I'd love your opinion on this. Okay? So I'm at this RAF gig. And one of the lads comes up to me and he says, are you on next? And I went, yeah. And he said, I knew you were a comedian because I saw you at Reading. And I was like, oh, right, cool. And you know, when somebody says it like that, you're not sure, because he didn't say, oh, I saw you at Reading and I really enjoyed it. So I thought, you know, you're a bit guarded because sometimes it could be, yeah, I saw you. I thought you were shit. Do you know what I mean? Like somebody can just come up to you and just want to start trouble. So I just sort of went, oh, okay. I said, well, you know that it's going to be pretty filthy then. But so I said that. And then he said, can I give you a bit of advice? Now, I think that advice is interesting. I do think it's funny when I get given advice. I mean, I'm waiting to hear what the advice is, you know, because I've had experiences before where I've not asked for advice and it's been given to me. And even when I've tried to stop that advice halfway through because it's either irrelevant, patronizing, or really just bizarrely, it really doesn't fit. Sorry, I think I just kicked the camera. Yeah, when that's happened before, yeah. So he said, can I give you some advice? Let me know if you want to hear the story about the mansplaining boy in the dressing room. It's a different story. Put a 1 in the chat if you'd like to hear that one. So he said, can I give you some advice? And I went, okay. And even his friend went like this. Like his friend thought, really? He said, you shouldn't tell people you're married. And I said, what? He said, well, like, you do, like, your comedy, yeah? I went, yeah. And he said, but you're, like, talking about all this stuff, you know, like, sex. And I went, yeah. And he said, well, you shouldn't tell people you're married. Now, number one, that's half my set. I mean, it's more than half my set. It's like right now, I mean, obviously you could sort of take out crystal healing. I mean, you take the most recent show, acting, not about being married. The Mole, no. Apart from when he picks me up from the hospital. Crystal healing, fudge. You know, there are bits in that. So, okay, like, let's say it's 70% of my act, though. And I said, why should I not reveal that I'm married. And he said, because, you know, if you're talking about the sex, people will clap and laugh anyway because they want to fuck you. But as soon as you reveal you're married, no, you know it's not going to happen. I think part of my brain kind of went like, yeah, I'm not into that. It's like, I'm sorry, did my marriage interrupt your masturbation? Sorry, like, what? Like, and it was like, his friends sort of went, like, which I thought was epic. I'm just gonna read the chat. Oh, okay, right. So I'll tell them the mansplaining thing. Oh, yes, the you should crowd. Yes, Smoke Pit. Yes, yes, Lukash. Advice? You should. Oh, isn't it lovely when someone just comes running over to your fire with a blanket, like, it is the funny half, right? I mean, well, oh, thanks, Tara with Jay. I mean, I'm trying to make the whole thing funny. I knew it was going to be sexist. Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like, I don't think it's, I'm not sure if I would even describe it as sexist. I think I would describe it as just bizarre. And I told this to one of the older comics, a brilliant comic called Bob Mills. And I said to him, so I've just had this like 22-year-old guy come up to me and say, can I give you some advice? And at first he just like roared because he's had that as well, despite the fact that he's Bob Mills. He had a television program. He's amazing. And when I told him about that, though, about like lying about being married, you know, to make yourself more accessible. I mean, like, that's not my goal. Can I just like, even though I talk about sex, my goal is not to fuck people at the gig. That's not what I do. I tell the jokes and I leave. Like, that's, I mean, I might hang around afterwards for a Coke, you know, not one of, no. And yeah, and it was just, and when I told Bob, he said, like the pop stars. And to be fair, he made an excellent point. And then I thought, well, actually, that is very true. Like, a lot of the time, you have pop stars that, or actors that do hide their sexuality because they still want, like, the producer wants them to be marketable. But I thought we were beyond that by now. And yeah, no, if it's a choice between being honest and like, one of the things is I like to be authentic. I do like to be a real person. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Elgras, well, that's impolite, the interrupting part. No, not your marriage, your lady bits. Oh, my math is wrong. Tara with J, no, honestly, my darling, ignore me. It is up to you what you enjoy. Please don't. I love the marriage jokes. Yes, they usually lead to me and the wife making fun of each other. That's the thing. That's the thing. I like to think that even though my jokes are about, you know, a terrible hand job or the fact that I'm getting teabagged whilst doing yoga, I like to think that it's still putting a positive message about our relationship out there, you know? So let me tell you I'll tell you the mansplaining story. Yeah. And then you guys can just give me some feedback on this, and I'll read the feedback on the comments when I kind of process after a week, because I'm going to do this about once a month because I can fit that in. And plus it gives me like a month to go on my strange little adventures and then come back and report to you live from the world of stand-up. And that way I can also make my videos. Yeah, that was my theory. And because I'm trying to fit it all in. Where was I going? Right, the man. Oh, okay. So, I'm doing one of these horrendous gigs where it's first thing in the morning and it's in front of people who have just had a baby. And the room is full of mainly women, with babies. These people are tired, and I don't know why they do this. They do it as a social event, so they're all sat there with their babies everywhere, and we do stand up for them, and you still do your adult set. I don't do these gigs anymore. I can't believe earlier in this live I was talking about gigs with noise interference, and I completely missed off these kind of gigs. So I go into the dressing room, and there's a guy there called Matt who's the host, and I met him before. He's great. And there's a guy I've never met, but no, that's not what happened. So I walk in with the host, right? This happened a while ago. I walked in with the host, and there's this young comic here that I've never met, and the show manager. And so I'm stood next to Matt, and this comic just walks straight to Matt. Hi. So what's your name? Oh, so you're the host. Great. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. And then he just walks past us and out the dressing room. It was like I didn't exist. And I looked at the show manager and Matt, my friend, and I went, am I invisible today? And Matt went, that was really weird. And I said, yeah, I think he thinks that I'm your girlfriend. And that's so rude. Like, it's not rude that he's assumed that I'm Matt's girlfriend. It's rude that somebody has come into the green room and he's just fucking ignored them because he thinks that I'm not a comedian, therefore not worth his time. Also, I would like to point out, he's opening, I'm closing, but I don't think he's worked this out anyway. Just so rude. Like, basic human interaction is just to at least acknowledge someone and say, oh, hello, nice to meet you, because it's a room of just 4 people. You ignore one, you're ignoring 25% of the people in that room. Just going to check the chat. Hello, Smoke82. Daniel Tucker. Sorry I was late. Don't worry, darling. We've got replay. It's fine. I should have got you to give tips on where to park. Enjoyed seeing you in an advert the other day. Are you doing show up Top North? Top North, I am. I've got a show in Derby. Friday. That's not tomorrow, the day after. 31st January, Derby. Not sure where. Yeah, somewhere in Derby. Is that north enough? Hey from Australia. Hi, Dave. Good morning. Thank you. I'm glad you love my work. Good morning, my angel. Lucas. I'm sometimes too authentic. That is always the worry. I mean, when you see me do stand-up, that is edited authenticism in an adult company. To joke about sex stuff without sexualizing people. Yes. Yeah, going back to the RAF story. Yeah, you're right. Like, it's weird how they think to cross that line. Oh, I've also got a friend who is a pornographer, and I want to tell you about her because I think I'm going to interview her and make a video for the channel. Please put a heart. No, you can't put a heart in the chat. Oh, fine, use it. Put a 2 in the chat if you would like me to tell you about my pornographer friend as well. I realise you've all got lives to lead, and I've been on live now for 40 minutes, so I'll talk faster. So, so the guy first of all ignores me. The guy ignores me, leaves the green room. So then when he comes back in, and I've got my book out because I'm reading, I'm doing stuff, and I've got my phone out because I wanted to record my gig, maybe make a vlog for the channel. And I'm there, like, just writing away. And then he realizes, and he's like, "Oh, hey, so what? So who are you? What do you do?" and stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, hi, I'm Diane. Yeah, I'm gonna do the gig as well. Great." And then somehow the chat got onto YouTube, as in the topic of YouTube, and he starts telling me, "Oh, okay, so." You know what you know what? YouTube is a great place to grow an audience. And I went, yeah, I have a YouTube channel. And he went, yeah. So what you have to do is, like, you can put all sorts of things up there. You can put up a video where you recorded it. You can put your stand-up up there. I went, yeah, yep, that is doable. Take a moment just to read the chat. Hi, Hunter. Hi, Diane. You're super fun. Thank you. I loved your commercial work. Oh, yeah. I love doing commercials. They're so much fun. Oh, you're so welcome, Hunter. I'm delighted that you enjoy my stuff. Oh, everybody wants to hear about my wondrous pornography friend. Good. She's gorgeous and she's a very sexy woman, and I want to tell you about her. Hi, Queen. Hello, Raze. Is that Raze? Raze? Germany. Wondrous. Smoke pit. No, she's in front of the camera, mate. In front of the camera. Yeah. So the guy, yeah. So to do YouTube, and he gives me sort of a YouTube lesson, and all the way through this, I'm going, yes, yeah, no, that I do that. Yes, I do that. You should do this. You should do that. And I can see in the corner of my eye, Matt, my friend, the host, like watching open mouthed as this young boy assumes that maybe it's because I'm like 20 years older than him that I don't know anything. I don't know. And then the best bit was that he said, so, you see, I started my YouTube channel and I had 13 subscribers. And now he did not say 13K. He said 13. And he said, but now I'm up to 50. And at the time of talking, we were on 36,000. And I went, oh, because I don't, what am I supposed, oh, yeah. And then he sort of swaggered out the room. And when he did that, my friend Matt, who'd just been like watching the whole time, went, oh my God, that was like mansplaining in the wild. I was like, and you know what? I told this to another comic friend of mine, and they said, it's amazing that he didn't bother to look you up. Like, he had a phone. He could have looked you up beforehand. He could have done the check. And I was like, I know, right? Like, he could have like looked me up before he started all of his talking down. And this other comic, he said, what if he looked you up afterwards or something? Or what if you run into each other again and he looks you up and he's like, wow. I'd be like, he's just going to think I listened. Like, he's going to take any kind of like numbers. He's going to go, wow, that little lady sure did listen. Oh my gosh. Right, let me have a look at the chat. Oh, I need to scroll back up. Oh my, hang on. 2. Yes. Oh, okay. I'm going to tell you about her. She's gorgeous. She's very good. Oh no, now something's happening. What have I done? Oh no. Channel activity. No, just show me the thing. Show me the... Oh no, I've lost the chat. Oh, there is... I'll use that button. I have to try and switch my VPN. Tango Whiskey Oscar. Ooh. 2. I got it, Ronald. Well, that didn't go as planned. What a great YouTube name. Well, that didn't go as planned. Wondrous. First attempt. Raze, I'm hoping. Saw comedians use AI, for instance. Oh, Jill and Cook. Oh. No, I really don't. Slumber, I think you want something from me that I can't give you. And that's okay. Yeah, but I can't. I'm not going to deliver you rap, my angel. If you really want rap, there's so many talented comedians out there that do rap, and I'd say go for it. Yeah. Far more effective antidepressant than anything provided by misguided decade. Oh gosh. You're most welcome, Ronald. I mean, still take all the drugs. I mean, anything that they can give you. Take all the drugs, bake them into a brownie, have some fun. But he was cracking onto you. Oh God. I don't think so. I mean, if he was, what a odd way to do it. Like, what, just be incredibly patronising and like treat me like I've got the IQ of a cork. Like, odd. Yeah, it totally went in that conversation. Oblivious people. Yes, Squirrel Nutty. Yes. That is the word, the oblivious people. And they have so much to tell us. And you think, this is incredible. How does this person not realize? But that is half of the fun. Do you know what I mean? Because when they're so oblivious and you go, I must remember every single facet of this conversation because I have to tell one of my... If you're oblivious, what's the opposite of oblivious? Oh gosh, don't. 13, 21. Are you going to pretend to massively fake cry over something this year? I wasn't planning on it, Carl. I mean, if somebody pays me to cry, I'm all tears. So, and by that I mean an acting job. Because I suddenly realised I was about to talk about my sex worker friend. So, I have a new friend. I love making friends with beautiful people. Like, mainly, I must admit, I've got a very large group of female friends. Like, I guess it's just because I'm a woman, I make friends with other women. But I love it. When I see a fabulous woman, I just think, oh, you're intoxicating. I want to talk to you. I want to find out what you're doing. Like somebody who's really passionate about what they do, or somebody who's just talented, or somebody who's just nice sometimes, just radiant people. You know, you meet people and you just think, they're such a radiant person. There are quite a few men who radiate the same way, but kind of, obviously it's a bit different, you know. But anyway, so she writes to me first of all on Twitter, and I go, oh, thank you ever so much. And she already knows quite a few comics that I know. Like she said, oh, I did this with this person, this with this person. I'm like, oh, right, oh, cool. So I said, hi. And then she came to my special, and she sat there with her husband and everything. And then we meet outside, and the first thing, the first inkling I got was, it was so funny. So she said, let's have a photo. And we were having a photo together, and she went, oh, wait, my tits. And she pulls down her, she really pulled it down. I mean, she has big boobs, they're great. But she sort of had these big boobs here like this. She's like, I really need to hang on, mate, wait. And I'm like, after a special, I'm not drunk, like Lukash, you know, you were there. Like, I'm not drunk, but I'm like sweating. I'm like, my adrenaline's through it's all over the place. So anything could happen, and I'll just go with it. Like, I'm in that surreal headspace, you know. So she gets out these fabulous knockers, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman's incredible. So yeah, photo. I love it. And then I was like, should we meet up and have coffee, right? So we meet up, we have coffee. And I thought she was a glamour model, full stop, right? Because I know glamour model. I know a lot of, in the UK we call them page 3 girls. I know glamour models. I know, so, you know, one of my friends, she really helped me like learn, because when you do like commercials, like the way that the camera works is very different. So you kind of, you can't sort of, the way you hold things, you have to hold things in an odd way. Like this might look a bit more like, it's hard to explain because I'm on camera explaining it. But you sort of have to hold things in a certain way, and you have to tilt your head. You can't like drink normally, like that's how I drink. You have to sort of, you know, angle yourself. It's bizarre. So I thought we were just getting together, you know, have a coffee, and I thought she was page 3. But as we're chatting, I said, so you do page 3 work? What else do you do? And she went, oh no, I'm not page 3. And I was like, oh, so I'm so sorry, I thought you were. And she was like, no, I am full on pornography. I am penetrative sex. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, oh. And then, so we had this brilliant coffee, and there are so many weird similarities about the way she approaches sex work and the way I approach comedy. And so I think it would be really interesting to have a really nice interview with her and make a bit of content that I can show you guys. And I think you would find it interesting. But what I loved is like, so one of the things, yes, she is married. She is married, but there is like, I mean, obviously it is different, but it works for them. And like, there's the same way that kind of, you know, she also, I told her about the comment from the guy about how, oh, maybe you shouldn't tell people that you're married because you talk about sex. And and at least they'll laugh if they think they can have sex with you. And she was appalled at that. She said, no, that's not, like, that's his issue. It doesn't matter. The funny thing about having friends who do full-on pornography is that they use social media like the rest of us. Now, because I know lots of stand-up comedians who I follow, my feed is full of like people like doing jokes, people doing stand-up, people saying, hey, listen to my podcast. Like, it's great. Like, any comedy I want is just there. But now that I know her and like some of her friends who I've met online, I'm sat next to my mum and I scroll up and her Twitter pops up and she is full on like just, it was impressive. It was impressive. I was like, wow, my friend is good at her job. Like, it was huge. And then like suddenly, like in a split second, it's her backside and I'm like, no. And then it's funny because we're friends, and then suddenly they'll be like, oh, look, this is me on holiday. And I'm like, oh, nice. There was something else. Oh, gosh. I'm sorry, it's fallen out of my mind. I'll have a look at the comments. Hypervigilant, hypersensitive. Oh, yes. The opposite of oblivious. Yeah, but would you describe yourself as hypersensitive or hypervigilant? I would just describe myself as, I suppose, aware. Not necessarily hypervigilant. Like, you can still get stuff by me. I hoot and clap like a 6-year-old when I see a magic trick. But I'm not, I would like to think I'm not one of the oblivious people. Radiate like the polonium pills. No, you would be a total gold doing regular. Oh, thanks, Carl. Well, this is what I thought. Maybe we'll just try it. We'll try it for a bit of time. If you guys like it, then I'll keep doing it. And if like you're like, and if you're like, and that's why I thought once a month. I thought that's sort of doable, isn't it? And you know, gives me time to go off. I mean, if you sort of say to me, Diane, we need more. When you go on your adventures, please collect items or something. Or if you say, have you got any footage of the event? I don't know. Like, we'll workshop it as we go. The drinking thing was just clipped. You were lots of emojis with money sticking out. I don't know what that is. Interviewer's a brilliant idea. Oh, okay. So, good. All right. So we're all in favour of the interview. Wondrous. Oh, exciting. Okay, good. Because this is all part of my nerdy attempt to just really talk about the thing I love and the thing that you guys love, comedy, and we'll share things, and it's exciting. Well, I think I will. I've kept you now for about an hour, so thank you so much for however much time you managed to spend with me. I really appreciate you turning up. And yes, I'll do one final little plug. If you would like to purchase one of the... What was I saying about angles? What was I saying about learning angles? If you would... If you would like a little mouse mat, and I will send you a signed... I think sign the front, even though it kind of ruins the picture, but I could sign it down there, because that way you see it. You see the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and I am shipping worldwide. Damn right I am. I know that most people aren't in the UK. I know that quite a hefty portion are, and I appreciate the people who follow me after they see me at a gig. But I also know that many people are not in the UK, so I'm posting everywhere. But yeah, I've only made a limited number of the things. We'll see how it goes. If basically after like 2 weeks I've still got 50 mouse mats, then yeah, I know not to do it again. Learning curve, hey. Oh, Lukash says photo evidence. Adam, oh, thanks Adam. It's all about the angle of the dangle. Oh, squirrel nutty. Love it. You are coming out with some great stuff this evening. Space Cowboy, all the best. Thank you. Oh, and thanks, Wayne. Thank you. Can't wait for the next Diane Spectacular. Tara J. This has been so much fun. Your new special does not disappoint. Oh, thank you. You're such an angel. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I will keep you informed. And yeah, I can't wait to hear from you again. I hope you all have an absolutely super rest of your week, whatever you're planning to do, and just be wondrous to yourself and to other people, because I bet you are. I'll bet you're a super person, and we're all here on the positive side, so let's just radiate that out into the world with all our wondrousness. I use you like an addict uses a dirty needle, often and with great joy. When are you coming down under again? Not sure, Dave. Not sure. If I do, it won't be 2025, but it would have to be 2026. Again, I need to nag like the festival people. Okay. All right. Good night, you beautiful people. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye. And here she goes. God, it's like watching a nan.